Hello vinyl community, this is Mike with TCats Deep Vinyl Tracks. I'm going to do a video today, a ranking video. I usually don't do a lot of ranking videos because I feel like one day it could be one thing and the next day it could be another. But with this particular artist, which is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, I thought this one is pretty cut and dried as far as what my favorite albums were, and he's got a total of 16 studio albums that I'm going to go through and rank in order of my preference. So yeah, your preference might be different, but this is as far as from number 16 all the way down to number 1, which would be the last one. And starting at number 16 is the soundtrack to She's the One. This is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, She's the One. Now, as far as Tom Petty goes, pretty much like all of his albums. But this one is probably the one I like the least. You know, you got to think it's both a soundtrack and some of the songs don't sound complete or finished. Doesn't seem like there's quite as much put into this one as some of the others, but still a decent album. So there's that. She's the One. There's the Black Warner Brothers label. Kind of gives it a retro look. Number 15, we've got, hold on just a minute. We've got Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Number 15 is Long After Dark. This was released in 1982. And again, you know, I like all of his albums, but this one has more of a, he was trying for a 80s feel, an 80s sound to it. There's probably a little bit more synth than what you're used to hearing. And still, you know, a decent enough album. It has You Got Lucky on it, was one of his big hits. I think that was his main hit off of this particular album. But there it is, Long After Dark. There's what the inner sleeve looks like. You got the words on one side and a cool picture, logo, whatever on the other. And the record itself, got this Backstreet label. And number 14 is Let Me Up, I've Had Enough from 1987. A little bit of a weaker album than what had been putting out. I think they were trying to find their spot, which they did, you know, with a couple of other albums. But this one I would pick at number 14. And not my favorite, but still a decent album. And it comes from 1987. There's the back of it. And Jammin' Me was on here. I think that was really the main hit off of this particular album. And here's the inner sleeve. You got a picture with credits on one side and a picture with lyrics on the other. And it's just a basic old MCA Records label on that one. Nothing special there. Number 13 was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers' last album they did back in 2014. This one is called Hypnotic Eye. And not as well of a known album as some of his others for some reason. Again, it's a good enough album to be considered Tom Petty. And there's got the lyric sheet in there. And there's gatefold, that looks like. And Reprise label, like so. No real big hits off of that album, but still enjoyable enough. Next at number 12, from 1981, got Hard Promises. A good enough album, but the problem I have with it is nothing sticks out a lot on it. There's a insert that it comes with the lyrics on the other side, and opens up to a nice picture. That's what the back of it looks like with the tracks. And the weighting is on this one, probably the biggest hit off of this album. Hard Promises. Yeah, this is the inner sleeve. Lots of pictures there. And there's the custom labels, again on Backstreet label. Then, after Hard Promises, we have the album, the second album they put out, You're Going to Get It, released back in 1978. There it is. There's the back of it. I think they were trying real hard to come up with something that was as good as the first album. Didn't quite make it, but still, again, good enough. Listen to Her Heart is one of the biggest songs on this one, biggest hits. You're Going to Get It, of course, the title track is on there. That's it. And here's the insert or the inner sleeve that it came with. And this one comes again on the old Reprise label. So coming up next is The Last DJ, released in 2002. This one, a lot of people didn't particularly care for this one. I don't think it's as bad as what people make it out to be. It's more of a concept album, which I don't know if that has anything to do with why it wasn't as well liked. I really don't know. I don't think it's that bad, but it didn't really come up with any huge hits or anything like that. A couple of songs I did hear on the radio, but not very often. There's the inner sleeve. And here's the insert that it came with the lyrics on the back. And it's 2 records on the Warner Brothers Gold label. And there's actually only 3 sides to this one. The 4th side has an etching. And so that's that one. Next in line, got to keep looking at my notepad. I thought I would be able to see it, but I have to keep reaching for it. Number 9 is the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Into the Great Wide Open from 1991. That's what it looks like, and it had a lot of hits on it. Learning to Fly, King's Highway, Into the Great Wide Open. A lot of good songs on this one. They came out after Full Moon Fever, which was an extremely popular album, and they tried to match it with this one, which they came pretty close to it, I think. To me, it's a little too much the same, which is why it's a little bit lower on the scale than Full Moon Fever, but still good enough to put on there. Got your custom labels, and still an enjoyable album, definitely worth getting. Number 8, we'll go up to the year 2010, And another album that wasn't really widely received for whatever reason, though it's a great album. This one is called Mojo. This was their attempt to get back to their old original sound. That's what the back of it looks like. And no real huge hits off of this one. I don't think there's anything here that anybody would recognize right off the bat. But like I said, I like this album a lot. I think it's underrated. This one comes on, again, the old Reprise label. On 2 albums, 2 records. This time all 4 sides are used. Then we go clear up to 1976 for number 7, which is the debut album, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I put this one way up there because I think for a debut album it was very strong. They knew the sound they were going for. They didn't have record companies telling them they need to do it this way or they need to do it that way. Of course, this has Breakdown on it. American Girl is also on this, which is, of course, a very famous song right now, popular song. You hear it a lot on a lot of movie soundtracks and everything. So Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers debut album. Again, we got it on the old Reprise label. So that one is number 7. Number 6 from 1985, we got Southern Accents. Now I realize this is probably further up on my list than what it would be for most people. I like this album. I think they really did a decent job in incorporating horns in many places on this. It sounds, to me, it sounds very natural for the music. They don't use them over the top or anything like that, but and it's a little bit more experimental than what their first 3 albums were. They were trying to branch out in other styles. This has the song Rebels on it, Don't Come Around Here No More, Southern Accents, which of course is a beautiful ballad, Mary's New Car, The Best of Everything, and another ballad. Great album. I like it anyway. And I think this is the inner sleeve. For some reason it doesn't, to me, it doesn't match what the rest of the record looks like. It looks more like it should be their next album, the inner sleeve for their next album, but it is Rebels. I even had to, or it is Southern Accents. I was thinking it was from another album. Okay, so number 5, or no, yeah, number 5 is Echo from 1999. Again, one of his later albums, which I thought was good. Very good album. I put it way up there as one of those last albums, one of the best ones of them. This one was produced by Rick Rubin, and it kind of has that same look to it as a lot of records that were produced by Rick Rubin. The black and white photography, but there's the inner sleeve. Emphasizes the band a lot more, which is nice as far as the pictures go. There's your inner sleeves. Of course, it's on 2 records. And that's what the label looks like. Great album, like I said. And there's one song on here especially that I think is very poignant. Room at the Top, I think, goes along well with a song to really pays homage to himself. Kind of goes back over his career. It's kind of like a capstone to his music, a lot like Hurt was for Johnny Cash. So there's that. Okay, And we're up to number 4. Number 4 is this great album. It's just considered Tom Petty. It's without the Heartbreakers, Highway Companion. This is an excellent album. Like I said, released one of his later albums, released in 2006. Just great stuff on this one. Saving Grace is a great song. Down South, Big Weekend, another fun song. Just full of good rocking songs. And highly recommend it for some of his later albums. If you were going to have any of his later albums, I would highly suggest this one, Highway Companion. And it has Jeff Lynne as the producer, which you know was also the producer for Full Moon Fever and his other popular solo albums. The insert that it comes with. Inside you get all these lyrics. So there's that. Then at number 3, this one is a personal favorite. Always will be. It was my first Tom Petty record, Damn the Torpedoes, and I think a lot of people agree that it's one of his best early albums. You got Refugee on here. Don't Do Me Like That. Louisiana Rain, probably one of my favorite Tom Petty songs. And that song almost didn't make the cut for this album for some reason. But great album. Inner sleeve. Nice picture. And a picture of the band, Tom in Disguise. And it's on the Backstreet label. And the Torpedoes at number 3. So number 2 and number 1 probably isn't a big surprise for a lot of people. Number 2, I would have to go with Wildflowers. Love this album. Of course, everybody seems to love this album. Wildflowers is a personal favorite song of mine from Tom Petty for personal reasons. It's Good to Be King is also on here. You Don't Know How It Feels. Cabin Down Below, great song. Great album. Of course, this doesn't have, this isn't the newer release with all the extra tracks or anything. It's just the album itself. There's the label. And there's the insert, the lyric sheet it comes with. So number 1, that of course leaves the amazing, perfect album, Full Moon Fever. I consider this one a perfect album. Every song on here is great. It's just put together so well. Again, Jeff Lynne was the producer. Mike Campbell also helped produce this, even though this is a Tom Petty solo album. Most of the band was there to do it along with him. Just full of great songs. The first side has the longer songs on it. Free Fallin', I Won't Back Down, Running Down a Dream. And then the second side has 7 songs, which is probably a little more than what most regular sized albums have. And each one's about 2 to 3 minutes, so they're shorter songs, more of a garage rock sound. Feel a Whole Lot Better, You're So Bad, the Apartment song, A Mind with a Heart of Its Own, just loaded with great songs. Full Moon Fever. My number 1 pick for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers studio albums. Of course, we left out all the Mudcrutch albums, all the live albums. That's what the label looks like on that one. All right, so that's it. There's my top Tom Petty studio albums. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to you next time.